The next section of the presentation is the WVU+kc updates. Gretchen McMasters and Jessica Williams will be presenting. Gretchen is the director of West Virginia University Office of Human Research Protections, which she joined in 2018. Gretchen's career in research compliance began 15 years ago at Northern Arizona Healthcare in Flagstaff, Arizona. While there, she focused on IRB operations, evidence-based practice, business unit efficiency, and process improvement. She received her MBA from the University of Southern California and holds numerous certifications in IRB operations and research compliance, including Certified IRB Manager, Certified IRB Professional, and Certified Healthcare Research Compliance. She is also a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt in process improvement. Jessica began her career in human subject research administration in 2012. She progressed from a medical IRB associate to the Reliance Manager role in the Office of Research Integrity during her 8-year tenure at the University of Kentucky. As of June 2021, Jessica became the Assistant Director of WVU's Office of Human Research Protections. Jessica, a fun fact about her, she enjoys coffee, shopping, spending time with her family, and playing with her 8-year-old miniature Schnauzer Titan. So welcome, and I'm going to pass it over. I think Gretchen's going first.
Yes, Terry, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And let me go ahead and share the screen. And I promise you I won't make you read that bio again because that was painful even for me. So let me get here to the presentation. And what I want to talk about a little bit today is not just particularly as I was putting this thing together, I thought, you know, I need to tell them a little bit more than what has just happened with WVU+kc, because the last 12 months, we have had a lot of changes in our office, and these changes are continuing. So I just want to kind of briefly go through some of the things that have happened over the last 12 months. And if you guys have got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And so to start with, Alan Martin retired July of this year. And for those of you who've been around a long time.
Hey, Gretchen.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but are you, just to make sure that you're not sharing anything yet? Because you're.
Let's see here.
I don't know if you want to stop and then reshare. I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. Let's try this again. Okay.
There you go.
There.
Okay, you guys see that now? Okay.
Yes.
All right, my apologies. Okay, misfire. All right, let's start over. So, and now I'm having trouble with this moving. Let's see. Okay, so Alan, can y'all see that now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So Alan Martin retired in July 2021. And for those of you who have been around here for a long time, Alan was here for over 30 plus years. Melanie Page, and now this is going automatically. Melanie Page took over as AVP, and she is now overseeing the IRB and ICUC. Rosemary Castile, for those of you who know Rosemary, was recently named the Special Assistant to the Vice President of Research for Technology Oversight and Planning. And while Rosemary is still working with us on IRB continuous improvement, most of her time now is being spent in this new role. But she's splitting her time in between her new role as Special Assistant for Technology Oversight and Planning and still working as Continuous Improvement Manager for the IRB. She will tell you that's about to drive her crazy, but she is doing an incredible job balancing both of those at this time. Jessica Williams, who was introduced just a second ago, was named Assistant Director for OHARP earlier this year. And she's been with us now for about 4 months, and we are so grateful to have her. This is the first time that our office has had an assistant director, and it has made an incredible difference in the things that we're actually able to get done, because Jess has been focusing on certain projects. In particular, she began rewriting the SOPs and has been working with us in earnest on our SOP rewrites. This is something that when I first came 3.5 years ago, we were trying to get done. 3 years later, it was still not done. And it took bringing someone in and saying, this is what you're going to do, and this is going to be your primary focus in order for us to be able to move this forward. We're also preparing for AHRP reaccreditation in the spring 2020. We have launched the first phase of our new website, which is still growing. And the website has been up now for a while. And we didn't make a big deal about this when we went up with a live website, because we knew that we were constantly going to be improving the website. And so I encourage all of you to please go onto our website if you haven't lately and look at it. We are adding material almost daily. We have a graduate student now who's been working with us, who's been assisting Jessica and Rosemary in getting new content up. And Jess will talk more about the SOPs and the new content that's being put up in regarding the SOPs. Other things that have happened this year. We are using a product called Quality Build to facilitate faster information capture and protocol submissions. Some of you who have been using our site may recognize that this thing is on automatic. I apologize. May recognize that what has happened recently is we had a lot of information previously that was in a paper-based form. We've now moved that to an automated form using Quality Build to try and expedite the process. The really cool thing about Quality Build too is that it limits the amount of interaction that you have to have with our office by providing you more information online. We're also no longer accepting amendments or renewals for Nhsr, Flex, and Exempt. This was a change that was made very simply because when we looked at this category, especially Nhsr, Flex, and Exempt, we had amendments and renewals that had been coming in for years. And about 99% of the time, these amendments did not change that protocol status one bit. And because this group does not fall under OHRP, okay? Flex because it's not federally funded, Nhsr because it's considered non-human subject research, and Exempt because OHRP has said this is exempt. We felt like that one of the best things that we could do, not just for the research community in general, but also our office, and this has turned out to be a win-win for everybody, for the most part, is to just say, we're no longer going to accept renewals or amendments. We've moved Nhsr, Flex, Exempt, and most expedited non-FDA regulated protocols to a single 5-year approval term. Now, what this means is that, first of all, you don't have to do continuing reviews. And secondly, at the end of 5 years, if this study is still going on and you still want to continue, you will resubmit the study as a new protocol. Now, the obvious question is, well, why did you do that? Okay, why didn't you just say it was going to be 10 years or 7? Or why do we have to resubmit as a new protocol? What we saw when we went back through our system was that we had a lot of protocols that were older that had had numerous amendments, numerous continuing reviews, and all of these changes. We had stuff in the system. You couldn't even tell what the protocol was about. Okay. So when we looked out to see what other institutions our size and larger were doing, we found out that they were actually doing this too. University of Southern California has instituted this new policy that when something, once it hits 5 years, the 5-year mark, if you want to continue on, you have to resubmit this. This makes sure that everything is up to date. You start over. You can copy that protocol, but you start over with new consent forms. You're not having to drag all of this old baggage behind you. And we feel like that this is actually going to be good in the long run. Is it going to put a little bit more work on those people that have to resubmit it? Yes, it will. But look at the work that you're saving by not having to do an annual continuing review. And also because all of our times now, approval times, with the exception of FDA, that still has to be reviewed annually for continuing review because they haven't harmonized with OHRP yet, and they may not. Okay, that jury's still out. But for the others, everything consistently across the board for NHSR Flex Exempt and expedited, OHRP expedited, are going to have that single 5-year approval. Study expiration dates are now firm. There is no option to renew once it has expired. An expiration date is an expiration date, okay? It's not an expiration date with the caveat. And OHRP, the federal regs state that when something expires, that's it, it's expired. So what we had to do is we had to go back and look at that. And we were actually out of compliance by allowing an extension of that expiration date. And we had to correct that, particularly because we've got AHARP coming up next year. And that was something that they were going to ding us on. Data protection certificates are now required. Rosemary Castile can talk about this a little bit more if anyone has questions about it. And we have recently piloted and launched the new electronic consent process, which is also active. One of the things that I do want to say about the data protection certificate is that even though the requirement is that you do those data protection certificates first, you fill that form out requesting it first, we're not holding up your approval. Okay, so the IRB is not going to hold approval up for you because of the data protection certificate. So just know that. Know that that's not going to mess with your IRB approval. Now, something that's pretty big here, and my screen is going to switch on me here in just a second, so I'll have to switch back. The move to Qualtrics Cloud for us right now, which we have been working on for the last couple of years, is on hold. And we are exploring alternatives to Qualtrics. We have been looking and been using WVU+kc for, I don't know, probably since 2011, maybe even 2012, probably before that. And while previously our IT department built that out using Qualtrics code, and it has been an on-prem system for us, a couple of years ago, actually when I first got here, the plan was for us to go from the old on-prem system to the cloud. We started working on that. And as we have continued to work on that, there have been good things about it, there have been bad things about it. But we were getting ready to go live with Nhsr in November. And there were still a lot of issues that we were having with Qualtrics, and also things that were not yet set in stone, corrections that needed to be made to the system that had not yet been made. And we have made the decision to put this on hold at the very least until spring. I will tell you we're looking at alternatives, okay? Now, that is just for the IRB office right now. But in order for us to really move forward as an R1 institution, our IRB submission system has to be the very best that it can be, given the money that we could put into it and the, what systems are available to us out there. We have not looked at different systems, and we must do that if we are going to be able to move forward at the rate of growth that we have. To give you some idea, when I came here in 2018 and then in 2019, I did an assessment of where we were with protocol growth. We had 3,192 total active studies as of April the 16th, 2019. We've got now pretty close to 4,300, maybe more. That is a significant amount of growth over a short period of time. And so the foundation that we have in our office has to be such that the infrastructure that we've got set up is as efficient as it possibly can be. And when you look at the fact that a university like University of Kentucky, where Jessica came from, had almost exactly the same number of protocols as we did. Jess, I think you said it was 4,100, 4,200.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
guys had 20 people. Okay. And we got 7. And that includes me. So if you knock me out, now you're down to 6. We're operating at 1/3 the staff that UK is operating at right now. So efficiency for us and process for us is critical in our ability to continue to move forward in a positive manner and be able to keep up with this growth. So keep your fingers crossed. We're going to be looking at some other systems out there, and who knows? I mean, we could look at the other systems that it could come back and we could determine that Quality Cloud would be best for us. But we did decide that based on everything that we knew, it made sense at this time for us to absolutely review what else was out there in the market and make sure that we're getting the best product for us. Now, who should you contact if you have questions about anything related to IRB? You can check our website, you can email us, you can set up an appointment. And also, this is the list of OHRP staff that are in our office now. I'm here, Jessica's here, Val Phillips is our senior IRB administrator. There's Joe Malcolm, who handles mostly Nhsr and Flex, which, by the way, is over 50% of everything that comes into our office. Melissa Himes, Jane Channel, and also Justine Barbita. So this is our staff. And like I said, we've got 4,200, 4,300 protocols. And I didn't get a number today before I went online with you guys, and I should have done that, and I apologize. But when you look at the number of protocols, once again, that we have and the number of staff, I am constantly astonished at what we are able to accomplish. I am. And I'm very appreciative for everything that our staff does. But thank you to anyone who's involved in research for all of your help and your support. We really appreciate it. And if you guys got any questions.
There's none in the chat, Gretchen.
Okay. I will stop sharing then and turn it over to Jessica.
All right, let me share my screen here. No. Here we go. All right, can everybody see that? And
Yes.
all right. So as Gretchen said, I've just been in the assistant director position for about 4.5 months now. It's been great, and I'm just really going to kind of build on what she talked about, especially with SOPs, and a little bit about the website. And once I am finished with this slide, I only have one slide, so y'all are, you don't have to listen to me blather on as much. So then we'll go through the website. Okay. So the WVU OHRP updates, the first thing, as Gretchen talked about, was the revised SOPs. That was the first thing that I was really given as the major charge when I came in. They are about 50% complete. That is, the process has been that, after the SOP is written, then it will go through a couple different reviews with staff. It then goes to our IRB chair committee for review. And this is for each of about 55 SOPs. Okay, so it's a large number. And then it goes to our vice president for research, Dr. King, for that final approval before it's placed on our website. So it's been a long process. It's been a large project, but I couldn't have done it without all the staff, all the IRB, Gretchen, and the VPR, definitely. So estimated completion for all of our SOPs is January of 2022. Hoping that we'll have them before then, but that's the completion date. We also have a new feedback form on our website, and I'll show you that here in just a moment when I go to the website. It's a twofold, right? We want to be able to meet that AHARP accreditation standard, which is that, we need feedback from others for quality improvement purposes, in order to know what to improve, what we can do better, and also what we're doing well, right? We want to know what we're doing well so that we can keep doing that and build on that. But the other reason is not just for AHARP, but for us as a program and as an institution, we want to be able to improve our processes and possibly, change those processes if there is a need for that. One of the other major changes that we've made on the website, thanks to Rosemary and our new graduate assistant, Ben, is that we've got a new Get Started page. It gives a step-by-step process for guiding researchers on, okay, you have a project that you may want to submit. You don't know if you even need to submit to the IRB. Step 1, and it goes all the way through step 6 and 7. And so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and let's see here. Go ahead and go here. All right. And everybody can see this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So our Getting Started page, that's our home page, and that's the building there. We were really proud of that picture that Gretchen took. So step 1, determine if a protocol submission to the IRB is even needed. This is, again, one of the build forms that we created. So you click on it and it'll go to a build form, and it'll sort of lead you through to your answer. And then step 2, determine, if it needs to be submitted, determine the protocol type for the project. Step 3, complete required training. Step 4, complete your WVU data protection certificate request form, which Gretchen discussed. Step 5, submit a protocol application to the WVU IRB. Step 6, conduct your research. And step 7, close the research project. And we are working on step 6 and 7 to sort of, beef those categories up a little bit and give you more guidance on those. This is our feedback form. So when you click on that, it will take you to a Qualtrics feedback form, and you can fill in as much or as little as you want. You don't have to answer all the questions, just whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you have time for, because I know everybody's busy, right? our about page. So if you go to about and contact us or staff, it will show you what Gretchen was discussing on, our contact information. If you go to contact us, it will show our main phone number and our main email. If you're not sure who to contact, just send it to the main email and we'll direct it to the right person. And then I want to just touch really quickly on our SOPs. So we've got we left the old format SOPs there because obviously there is going to be some overlap and there's some that we still haven't completed in the new format. So we left that old format at the bottom. So if you're looking and you don't see what you're looking for in the new, go down to the old and you'll be able to find that there. But the new format SOPs are right here, and these are the ones that have been approved by all the parties that I discussed. And they're just, keep a watch, though there will be more in the coming weeks and the coming couple months. And then we've got, I do want to touch on this as well because Rosemary she worked on this for a long time, and we're still building on this every day, but we've really worked on our guidance. We want to make sure that when you go to our guidance A to Z, you can just sort of click based on what a sent child, you can go to that particular page that you need to get, your information for your project. So that is really all I had. And does anybody have any questions on anything regarding the standard operating procedures or?
Jessica, there was a question in the chat. It said, will new SOP include an SOP for remote remonitoring?
Remote monitoring.
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's one that we'll have to think about, remote monitor. So, and remote monitoring in terms of, I'm wondering if we can get a little bit of clarification in terms of like the life of the protocol or monitoring.
Yeah, Lauren, can you clarify that a little bit? Study monitors due to COVID.
Yeah, she said we get asked that a lot by our study monitors due to COVID, and we need for research monitors to come on site.
Okay.
That is really something that I'm thinking would be outside of the scope of the IRB. That sounds like it's more an SOP that would be under the COE. Shelley, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to chime in, Gretchen. Thank you. I think that if they're looking for regulatory documents, the system that Anya was talking about earlier, E-Reg, in relationship to Encore, is where you would share your regulatory documents with the monitor, and that has that capability to do that.
Right.
And so, Lauren, if you want to get with us, after this meeting and let Anya talk to you about E-Reg, I think that would help you the most in remote monitoring.
And Shelley, that's a good point. This is Tanya. I just wanted to add as well that we do have a COE SOP that operationally describes the expectations for external monitoring and providing access to systems for monitors. And that is COE 121. And it's on our website. So you can go through ctsi.org, WVCTSI.org. And then there should be somewhere to find the COE SOPs. And we do have that one.
Thanks, Tanya.
Yes, and typically if it's an SOP that we don't necessarily have, the COE probably has one, or we've probably collaborated with them on it.
Debbie added the link in the chat if anybody.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We did have a question back to, or not a question, Layla had put in the chat as far as E-reg. She said, you must be on the Health Science Center or WVU Medicine Network to access E-reg and sign documents. So we didn't get that out before we were done with Anya, but any more questions for Jessica or Gretchen? Okay. Well, I just want to thank Anya, Liz, she had to drop off, and Jessica and Gretchen for presenting today, and thank you for coming. And I hope everyone has a great weekend.